Good morning. Welcome to a Tuesday edition of Morning Scone. Glad you're here. As always, do us a solid and hit the subscribe button down at the bottom of the page. Tell a friend, like, comment, share, thumbs up, thumbs down, all that good stuff helps. All those metrics help us grow the page. So please engage us there and appreciate it greatly. So a couple of things we'll do today. A little LSU baseball, some news notes there, and then and some news with the New Orleans Pelicans as well with Alvin Gentry. So we'll start with LSU baseball. They play tonight against Lamar, but that may not be the biggest news. The biggest news is what Josh Smith apparently texted Paul Mainieri on Sunday after LSU got swept by South Carolina. So Mainieri's meeting with the media yesterday and discloses that Josh Smith texted him on Sunday and said, "I'm ready to play this weekend." Or this week. So at the time that Mainieri met with the media, he didn't know exactly what that meant. What Paul told the media was that Josh Smith was coming to the yard, that he was going to check with the trainers and see all the possibilities there. But that could just be massive if they get Josh Smith back. And I know that the counter argument to it is, and this makes sense, is you really think that getting a player back that hasn't played in 2 months is longer than that, actually. But 2.5 months. That he's not going to be rusty, like that's going to be the difference maker in the season. I'll put it to you a couple of ways. Well, first and foremost, Josh Smith's back. They've said structurally is fine. So it's the issue with the stress reaction is no longer a problem. A couple of weeks ago, the setback he had was he had a spasm, a back spasm, and so they shut him down after that. But here's what I would say. Hal Hughes has been fantastic at shortstop defensively, and that's what they needed him to be. They needed him to be a good defensive shortstop, and anything they got offensively from Hal Hughes was lagniappe. And it's clear right now for a guy that in conference play is batting like 150 that he wasn't going to be counted on for his bat and probably isn't ready to battle SEC, top-line SEC pitching week after week after week. So if you replace Hughes with Josh Smith, you get back your best defensive infielder in Josh Smith, maybe your best defender on the team, like a guy who's going to play in the big leagues. And you're getting a guy back offensively who was probably going to hit somewhere in the 315 range, 5 to 7 homers, has that pop. I mean, we forget, like, the first game of the season, LSU beat Notre Dame because Josh Smith hit a 3-run homer in the 8th. He brings that dimension that Hal Hughes doesn't. So even a rusty Josh Smith, let's say a rusty Josh Smith comes back, plays short for you flawlessly, and hits 250. What's 100 points higher than what Hal Hughes was giving you? And what's more is you would guess Josh Smith is going to bat near the top of the lineup and not batting ninth. So the domino effect of the entire lineup, if Josh Smith is batting leadoff, is this trickle down. So you even saw this on Sunday. They batted Hughes 8th and Brant Broussard 9th. So that way when they flipped the lineup over and Cabrera was batting leadoff, they didn't want Hughes batting 9th because, I mean, Hughes has been an out in the lineup. I mean, it's just, again, he's been great defensively, but you got to call it what it is offensively. So you don't want, like, when you start the game, obviously, it's Cabrera was batting leadoff, but when you flip the lineup over, it's Hughes batting in front of Cabrera. And look, now on Sunday, Hughes drew a walk, he doubled off the wall, he had a nice offensive game when not everybody did. But consistently, that hasn't been there. So if now you're batting Josh Smith at the top of the lineup, that allows you to put someone in the 9 hole who maybe is more productive, be it Brant Broussard, or if you want to move whoever they're playing at third, if it's Jake Slaughter, if they keep Austin Bain at third, to keep Coombs in the lineup, then you get a bigger bat down the bottom. The point is, there's a domino effect throughout the entire lineup that changed the complexity 1 through 9 and also how a pitcher can attack that lineup. So getting Josh Smith back would be huge for this team. I understand the devil's advocate that's going to say, like, if you're counting on a shortstop that's missed 2 months to come back and be the difference maker in your team, which just got swept at South Carolina, like, I totally understand the skepticism. But at this point, going into this weekend against Ole Miss, where you feel like your season is on the line, like your opportunity to still be a regional host is this, it depends on the results of this weekend. I'd rather have him than not have him. I would absolutely rather have him than not have him. So let's see if Josh Smith is back this weekend for the trip to Oxford, because LSU needs all hands on deck as much as they can have. Now, Tigers play tonight at home against Lamar. And this is interesting. Of course, former LSU assistant and former LSU player Will Davis is the head coach at Lamar. And he had a really good first year at Lamar, but this year they started off terribly. I checked them out like some point, about a month ago, and they were like 5-17. I mean, it was a rough go for Lamar earlier. Now, right now they're 13-27. They had won 6 straight games, but they lost on Sunday to Abilene Christian, so they were starting to get a little bit of momentum. But still, this has been a really tough year for Will Davis in year 2 at Lamar. And full disclosure, I don't know a ton about their roster, if they lost a bunch of guys, if they had injuries or whatever happened to cause that start. But man, they were really, really struggling out the gate. But they got a little momentum here in the last couple of weeks. AJ Labus is going to start tonight. That's obviously the key for LSU, because you want, first of all, because LSU plays a Thursday, Friday, Saturday series at Ole Miss, the last thing in the world you want to do is tax your bullpen. Think about what happened last week at Tulane. They played a Wednesday game at Tulane, and knowing you had a Friday, Saturday, Sunday series, so you basically were traveling Thursday, then playing again Friday. Paul Mainieri didn't want to have to use Fontenot and Beck and Bain, like all of his best arms out of the bullpen. But when LSU rallied, they ultimately had to go to those guys out of the bullpen to try to protect the lead. Now, of course, we all know they didn't. But the point is, like, Paul Mainieri would have much rather not use those guys on a Wednesday, knowing he's got to play Friday, because he doesn't know if he's going to need them on Friday. So tonight, you need AJ Labus to go deep into this ball game. You need him to be on and to go deep to preserve the bullpen. So the flip side of that is, man, you need offensively to get off in this game so that Paul Mainieri can use whatever arms he needs to get through this game, so you don't have to go out there and run out any of your good your more trusted bullpen arms to get through this game. Because right now for LSU, they're about stockpiling wins. The kid that's throwing for Lamar is a senior righty. His name's Jace Campbell. He's 1-6 on the season. He's got a 4.39 ERA, about a strikeout per inning, 41 innings pitched, 40 strikeouts, got 25 walks. So I've preached about this a bunch, man, but I'd love to see this team offensively be a little more patient and try to make pitchers sweat and make pitchers work. 25 walks in 41 innings is a buttload of walks. So offensively tonight, please be patient, work walks, make this kid work hard, get an early lead, and let Labus cruise throughout this game. That's what LSU needs to have happen tonight. So LSU Lamar tonight, and then they got a Thursday, Friday, Saturday series at Ole Miss, which is a huge series for the team, obviously, this weekend. One other quick note before we wrap up for the day. Alvin Gentry, the Pelicans announced they picked up Alvin Gentry's 5th-year option. Of course, he's in year 3 right now. This is kind of an amazing about-face for Gentry, man, because he and Dell Demps announced that. Well, he didn't announce it. This is it was. I'm trying to think who had the report. I saw it at ESPN, but anyway, it's not a formal release from the team, but ESPN had it and cited a source or Demps saying that they had made the decision and informed Gentry before Demps informed Gentry before the Portland series. So it's not like, oh, they swept Portland, so they picked up his option. But for a guy that was 64 and 100 in his first 2 seasons, you're averaging right there about 32 wins. That's an amazing turnaround here in year 3, especially considering the adversity with Boogie. And you also figure, man, coming off this series sweep, you're going to play Golden State in round 2. Whatever happens in that series, you feel like you're going to re-sign Boogie. Anthony Davis has been able to flex his muscle on the national stage along with Drew Holiday. You feel like you're much better suited now to go appeal to a top-line free agent, to bring someone else into New Orleans. So you kind of look at that checklist before the playoffs started. It was, hey, get in the playoffs, win a first-round series. You're probably going to lose to Golden State or Houston in round 2, but if you win a series, you advance. AD plays well. He's happy. You check those boxes. You re-sign DeMarcus Cousins. You go appeal to a big-name free agent this year in what is a gigantic, very strong free agent class, bring in another piece of the puzzle, and then next year, hopefully, you're in that mix competing with Houston and Golden State at the top of the West. So they're starting to check boxes, And I'd love to see them be super duper competitive with Golden State in the second round. I don't think they're going to win that series. We can talk about that, when it becomes formal. But nonetheless, you can see that the Pelicans they've got their roadmap, and they're on the right path, which is really, really good to see. So in the meantime, they'll keep resting and waiting for Golden State to close out San Antonio. That Game 5 of that series is tonight, so we could know for certain tonight if, in fact, it'll be Pelicans Golden State in the Western Conference semis. So in the meantime, it's going to do it for us. Again, as always, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. If you go to my page at the top, you'll see playlists. I've got whiskey reviews, other media appearances, different stuff there. So peruse the page and join as always. If you've got comments or suggestions, I'd love to hear it. In the meantime, have a great Tuesday. We'll talk to you again tomorrow.